from Abuja.
Hello, I'm glad you are part of our show. We appreciate you. I'm Magnus kpakol, and this is Magnus kpakol GVA, Global Views Africa. As always, it's all about how we can raise the level of living. That's what it's all about. In View today, we evaluate how Africa can succeed in the new global economy. In our discussion with my research colleagues here at Economic and Business Strategies, we try to see the role a vigorous approach to human capital development can play for Africa to be competitive in this new global economy of the fourth industrial revolution. But before this, in our hidden economics, we look at how to recklessly acquire knowledge. Now, up next in our quick view, the great importance of literacy. That's coming right up. Literacy has traditionally been thought of as reading and writing. However, it is useful to see that this so-called reading and writing must be in at least one major global language of commerce, such as English, for the purpose of communicating with and understanding a broad range of people. Literacy therefore broadens a person's ability to absorb changing global conditions and modern technologies so as to promote an improved quality of life. Considering this, literacy rate is the percent of the working age population that can read, write, and communicate in a major global language of commerce. It is therefore clear why there is a direct positive relationship between literacy rate and industrialization. Indeed, countries with high literacy rates tend to be more economically advanced. Developing countries have over the years considered adult literacy to be critical for their ability to be globally competitive. Indeed, OPEC countries with access to petrodollars and relatively richer compared to other developing countries have even tried to assist the others. In this connection, which of the following large population OPEC member countries has the lowest literacy rate? Iran, Iraq, Nigeria, or Saudi Arabia? Which of the following Nigerian states has the lowest literacy rate? Jigawa, Niger, Sokoto, or Yobe? Still in view, how can Africa succeed in the new global economy? Now, up next in our hidden economics, to recklessly acquire knowledge.
All who never know them are gonna know. But why I Baba Wala, you show me make I see. I want to find my remedy. Waiting I go do for love. Cause the bad man never know what to do to get your love. Every day we dip and roll. I want you know, say my girlie, oh, I want to touch you, say we gotta do anything for you. Girl, I'm ready, oh, girlie, oh, I want to touch you.
That song, Nkulenu by the great Stone Boy. Stone Boy, whose real name is Livingstone Eche Satekla, is a Ghanaian Afro-pop, dance hall and reggae singer. In the song Nkulenu, which in the Ghanaian language ever means I have my eyes on you, the singer is talking about how he would do anything to get the girl's love. As it seems, when it comes to love, most guys would do anything to get the girl they want. They truly can be reckless to get that girl. So, what is reckless? Generally, when you say that someone is reckless, you typically mean it in one of two ways. One, the person is acting in a way that shows that he does not care about danger. Or two, the person does not consider the effect his behavior will have on other people. In my discussion here, I choose the second meaning of reckless. So if you're looking for genuine love, can the effect of genuine or true love on other people be that bad? As we know, some guys can actually pursue their girl recklessly. This is all good if this pursuit is all for love, true love. Because as the Holy Bible teaches, love is sacrificial. You love even the one who hates you. In fact, you are to turn the other cheek to the person who just slapped you, just to show love. So that can be described as reckless, I guess. And so I argue that in human capital deficient countries or communities, people should be reckless when seeking knowledge, which can be converted into skills for making goods and services. To be reckless in seeking knowledge is to not care about the effect of the knowledge, or at best to estimate that the returns from the knowledge acquired will be greater than the cost of being reckless getting it. Knowledge has extensive positive externalities as it benefits even people who did not contribute to its acquisition. When I get knowledge, it is good for the society, and that's why its acquisition is often supported by governments and other institutions in scholarships. Being held so far behind by human capital deficiency, don't care about the effect of too much knowledge. So if it is about acquiring knowledge, be reckless. Our hidden economics for you.
Say we can do anything for you, girl. I'm ready, oh, ready, oh, ready, oh. I want to touch you, touch you. Say we can do anything for you, girl. I'm ready, oh, ready, oh.
Before we start our discussion, here are our quick view answers. Nigeria, with a literacy rate of 63.2%, ranks lowest among large population OPEC member countries. With data for Borno State unavailable due to security reasons, Niger State, with 33.6%, has the lowest literacy rate in the country. As it turns out, no northern state has a literacy rate at or above the national average of 63.2%, considering that Lagos State leads the nation with a literacy rate of 92.8%, with Bayelsa, Rivers, and Delta following with rates of 88.1%, 82.1%, and 80.6% respectively. For comments, adverts, and sponsorship, please see our information displayed on the screen. So how can Africa succeed in today's very competitive global economy? As we know, Africa is an aggregation of communities and nations. And so how are the people primed for the battle ahead? To help discuss this, I will be joined by Salama Tanko, Oyekunle Adesina, and Peculiar Ibiabuchi, three of our researchers here at Economic and Business Strategies. Okay, so how can Africa succeed in today's very competitive global economy? To handle this, we have researchers here at the Economic and Business Strategies to discuss this very important topic. We're talking about Africa, but in reality, we know that Africa is an aggregation of our communities and our nations. So you can take it any way we want. We want to talk about what it is that we can do in Africa to be more globally competitive in this age of the so-called fourth industrial revolution. So we got three researchers here at EBS, that is Economic and Business Strategists. We've got Salama Tanko, we've got Peculiar Ibiabuchi, and we've got Oyekunle Adesina. And we want to discuss the performance of Africa, how Africa can be competitive, in fact, more competitive and be successful in this new, very competitive global environment. And people say an environment that is dominated by the fourth industrial revolution. So we'll start with Salama as usual. What do you see? When you see it, and you can look at it as broadly or as specifically as you want, what do you see Africa doing? How do you see Africa competing? And how do you see the new global environment in the context of a regular person in Africa?
For me, I think Africa has to key in and connect with the rest of the world. We have to look at what the rest of the world is doing. What are they doing that to get to that they are where they are now? I think Africa is kind of left behind. With the other industrial revolutions, we've always been left behind. And then now we're talking about the fourth industrial revolution. And if we look around Africa, or specifically, let's say Nigeria, where we are, a lot of people are not talking about it or not connecting to it. They're not even aware about what's happening. If you talk to a lot of people, they've not heard about the fourth industrial revolution, and people have gone ahead already. People are doing robotics, people are doing so many things, connecting so many things. In your house, you can have a robot. Production has gone to another level. People use robots in their offices, but we are still left behind. The area which we can see that Africa is doing a little is the banking, financial industry. I think we've gone ahead, or we have attained some things in that area. But I think we have to connect with what people are doing. If we really want to be globally competitive, we can't just be doing things in our own way. Our leaders are not connecting to it. Our leaders are not talking about it. I don't know if they don't have an idea about what's happening. I think they should have an idea about what's happening, but they have to connect more to what's happening, the technology, the resources available out there, and then talk to their people about it. Encourage people to key into that area so that we can see how globally competitive we can become. Because without our leaders, we can't do it. The individual can't do it alone. I think the individual can connect on their own, but they cannot give they cannot get maximum results without the government or our leaders. So I think our leaders should talk more about it, try to see how they can bring it to the people, and then make available resources to key into that sector.
So that's wonderful, Salama. But I think one thing I picked from what you just said is leadership. That we got to make sure that our leaders are on top of the matter, that they understand that there is this new environment where the competition has gotten stiffer, and we need to do a little bit more. So Peculiar, so in light of that, is it a human capital development thing? Is it that our leadership, is it that they need new skills that they don't seem to understand actually exist? So how can they do something differently, from what they have been doing to make people realize that they're investing in the people, that they understand that the time has come to invest more in the people? So is it about, generally speaking, is it about human capital development, and that we are very deficient in that arena? Or what do you think?
I think it's everything you've said and more, and it's definitely a human capital development thing, because as a nation, we're barely out of the second industrial revolution, because we have farmers that don't even have the tools they need to mass produce, And then now we have computers that can make things better, and a lot of people are still trying to learn about computers. Now we have leaders that are good in certain things, but like you said, they have old skills that, maybe they worked at some point, but right now they're not working anymore. So they need to get new skills for the world that we're going into, because the fourth industrial revolution is about connectivity rather. It's about the way of, like you said, drawing the line, or rather crossing the lines between the physical, the digital, and the biological makeup of the human being. Now, as a nation, we know that we are lagging behind. When you go to a ministry, you go somewhere to do some kind of documentation, you see that there is a crowd and there is a queue because it's manually done. There are no tools there. So our leaders really need to look into this thing and then understand that, okay, you're investing in humans. It's going to make your work easier. Imagine that our schools are well developed. Our schools have access to internet. People know how to use their computers. When it's time to do certain mass registration, mass documentation, the people can do it from the comfort of their homes. They don't have to come out and overburden the staff, in certain organizations because they're trying to, either get information or give information about themselves. So I think it's definitely a human capital development thing, and it's something that our leaders really, really need to look into.
It's really powerful what you guys have said, linking leadership, with technology and all of that. So you even talked about the fact that, you could sit at home and be doing work, So, but the thing is, Mr. Kunle, where are we? Are we there? Do we have those kinds of technologies where we can sit at home and be productive? Where it used to be that we gathered in one place. We know that in other parts of the world, people are literally working from home and they're still being very productive because of technologies. Now, do we have those kinds of technologies, or is it really about technology? Some people have said, and I believe that too, that with technology, we can leapfrog the world. We can go through the linear process that the other more advanced economies went through. We can't use that linear approach that they used, where they started from steam engine, type of system, that revolution, the first one based on that, going to electricity, going to automation and digital computers, and now coming to this fusion we're talking about. We don't have time to begin to go in that kind of manner. So what do we do? Are there computers, are there systems, or do we have a different kind of thing that we can use and leapfrog the rest of the world and be more competitive?
Okay, for me, I think these technologies are on ground, they are available, but definitely not in this part of the world. Like in more advanced countries, you can find them. But what really happens is that the government needs to come in here. Just like my colleague said here, people working from the comfort of their home. Yes, you can work from the comfort of your home if you have the physical and the digital infrastructure on ground. What is the physical infrastructure? I mean, electricity, something like electricity. For the digital, the bandwidth. Are these things on ground? What is our internet speed? So if you want to talk about people working from home efficiently and effectively, you have to put these structures on ground. So if we don't have that, then our productivity will be low. And that is why we will lag behind, we will lag other countries. Now, my fear is this. These countries, the developed countries and the advanced countries, they've gone ahead of us. And we have this population. Now, population of Africans under age 35 is around 75%. Now, if we take the population, let's take the total population of Africa to be 1.2 billion, we are talking about almost 900 million people. Now, this 900 million people, is a market that can transform this continent. But if we don't do the right things, give them the necessary education, reskill, organize some reskilling programs that will maximize their potentials, it will be a disadvantage to us because people around the world will just see a market only. Just like you said earlier in the show, you said, is that you produce and consume. Now, if we are not producing, then it means we are consuming. Then if you are consuming, it is bad for us.
So what they now call the fourth industrial revolution has arrived. The fourth industrial revolution is a term coined by Klaus Schwab, executive chairman of the World Economic Forum. It is said to be based on the third industrial revolution that used electronics and information technology to automate production. As Professor Schwab has said, with the fourth industrial revolution, we are on the brink of a technological revolution that will fundamentally alter the way we live, work, and relate to one another. According to him, the transformation will be unlike anything humankind has experienced before in its scale, scope, and complexity. So, how ready is Africa for all this? According to Schwab, the so-called fourth industrial revolution involves a fusion of technologies that is blurring the lines between the physical, digital, and biological spheres. And folks, this is now becoming the reality of the new global economy in which Africa must compete. That said, and hopefully understood, how has Africa fared with the previous three industrial revolutions? Let's keep something in mind. Economic progress is all about productive ability. You produce and consume, you succeed. You only consume, you fail. But this is not all. It's really about producing the goods and services that the people of the world want, and at a high level of quality and productivity. So what can Africa do to succeed or be competitive? Let's cut to the chase. Africa needs to invest heavily, or shall I say recklessly, in its youth. They are the hope. And global competition for Africa today will have to involve a significant dose of high-quality university education with top-notch knowledge and skills acquisition. Now, because of poverty and limited funding across the continent, to succeed, Africa will need strategic partnerships with its more affluent diaspora and their larger host communities. To summarize, it is going to be about human capital development in all its ramifications, meaning knowledge acquisition, wellness, and critical productivity skills. Now, I generalize here, but in practice, each individual, community, state, or nation will have to start its own human asset investments for the production of globally competitive goods and services. So in Africa, the story is this. Pivot to approaches that facilitate the absorption of modern technologies in production. Africa must prioritize investing in its growing young population. That's where the solution is. I'm Magnus, and that's my view.